That's really making a good one, eh? Yeah.
Hey, welcome everybody. It's Earl Morris and
Brian Saville.
and we are here at the Travelers Club Championship here at the Hunt Club, the Ottawa Hunt and Golf Club in Ottawa. It's the seventh edition of this championship, and this is draw 3 this morning. It's men's round robin, and we have a great game lined up here. It's a battle of Eastern Canada with New Brunswick versus Northern Ontario. Should be fun, Brian.
Yes, it will be. Right now, New Brunswick is 0-1. They got tripped up in their first game against BC, losing 5-3. And Northern Ontario, they won their first game 6-4 over the Northwest Territories. So it's a key game for both.
Yeah, and you know, when it's the start of the event like this, you like to always get off to a good start, but you know, there's all sorts of cliches in curling, and one of them is it's a long week, and it's not how things are at the start, but where you finish up at the end. So I think both these teams are looking forward to this game, and we're on great ice here, thanks to Bill Duck at the Ottawa Hunt, so it should be a great one.
Draw to the button was a while ago.
For those of you who aren't aware, they determine hammer by draw to the button, and Northern Ontario won the draw to the button competition. He actually, their skip put it right on the button. A great shot and well swept.
Yeah, you know, and that seems to be an important part of the game these days at all levels. They have that draw to the button, determine tiebreakers and hammers, and I think it's a good part of the game and adds some interest. So pretty standard start here, it looks like, eh?
Yes, it is. I was talking with the Northern Ontario team before we went on air, and they really found that there's a lot of curl in the ice compared to what they're used to. And one of the things they did mention is that you've got to throw it clean and you've got to get out to the broom or you're going to be in trouble. Most of the misses yesterday were on over curls.
Well, that's a very good point. And again, it's the business about championship ice. Most of the time, when people are playing in provincials and nationals, the ice is curly. And so, yeah, it is important to get out the room so stuff doesn't over curl. So, looks like they've figured that out already. So I've got a couple of bios here, Brian. One on Team New Brunswick that is a half a page, and then one on Team Northern Ontario that's 14 pages. So a little more experience, I think, in the Northern Ontario team.
Yes, I think they've been around to some of these events in the past. They look like they're a pretty solid team.
Switch. Yep. Hard. It's curling now. Go. Right back. Yep.
So it looks like we're into it already here, Brian. Control of the center looks like what they're both after.
That's a key shot. They got it partially behind the guard, and most important, kept it in front of the tee.
Lots of line. Looks heavy, eh? Whoa. Shot.
Well, just a little heavy. I always think back to junior days and coaching and think of the importance of tolerance on shots. And maybe that's a shot that there'd be a little bit more things they could do with it. It was a little short of the house or a little short of the rock that's in the 4 foot rather than deep. But who knows? We'll see how it comes into play.
I like this call, Earl.
Line's good.
Often you put up a corner guard and then you don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going around and it's going to come into play.
Don't switch.
And I'm also a great believer in if you can find a simple shot to make over a hard one and make the other team make the tougher shot, it's certainly a good idea. And this is just a great choice and great execution. Nice that it's a little deeper than the rock that's biting a 4-foot, so there's no opportunity for a double either. The second Michael Prince trying the freeze.
Line's pretty good. Whoa. Yep. Hard. Hard. Hard, boys, all the way. All the way.
Well, not ideal, but the beauty of it is it's maybe a better miss than the first one because it's in a control position. They could use it to get out of the end by throwing a straight back or nudging it in there into the 4-foot. So it's not a bad rock. We'll see if it comes into play.
Line's good. Yep. Tighter line. Hard.
And again, I like this because again, it's a simple shot and it gets to repeat the shot he threw last time and puts the pressure on the other team with another yellow rock in the house.
Get it here. Yep. Hard now. Hard. Right back. Lock it on there. Good. Attaboy. Attaboy. Back. Shooting. Just tap it, Mo. Okay. Shooter there. Good throw, Tom.
Here's third Mo Gotro with his first rock.
Yep. Yes. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Judging by the way the skip was yelling early, I think he was just maybe a little bit in. And mind you, there's still some short rocks there, so there's always that opportunity when you don't have the hammer
We're 1-2.
to make chicken salad out of chicken feathers here if you have to near the end of the end.
What do you guys like?
New Brunswick is clearly in a little difficulty here,
Sure.
but they do have some red rocks out front, which could be
Just
their
draw weight.
their savior.
Yeah, tap it up, because this double's there right now. Okay. Just T-line back 4.
Mitch Shallow with his first rock in the first end.
Okay. Line's good. It's going to be heavier here. Going to be heavy here. Yep. Yeah, line. How much now? Yep. Hard. Whoa. Good, Mitch.
Great input from Mike Assad, asking his sweepers what the weight was so he could make a more informed decision, get a better outcome on the shot.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa.
That was great anticipation of the curl. The rock was well out there, and the skip jumped on it right away, expecting, and indeed did get great curl on the rock.
Yeah, that was a great job by Sean Ingersoll to call that early, and he got a good outcome. Again, those red rocks
We'd be line 5. That
out
T4.
front might be difference makers here before the end of the end.
Might be worth a shot. We're 2. If we guard it, though, and they make that, we can't guard everything. What's that? Pick this? I hate to do this in the first end, but
Timeout.
where's the guy? Come look at this.
What happens if they throw a straight back on the red guard out front, Brian? Get 2 red ones to leave town without any collateral damage or not?
They possibly have that.
There's the one that's in the near the center line, which
Can't guard at all.
could angle over to the one over at
There's almost no way to hurt ourselves with this. There's almost no way to hurt ourselves.
9:30.
Yeah.
Could hit that
off of
one,
this and that?
but those are dangerous rocks out front, and
Yeah.
their skipper's right. You can't guard.
That's not going. That's not going that high.
Yeah, that's
almost
interesting. I think they could probably hit this front red on a few different places and
Might
maybe
play
get out
this,
of dodge here.
and then
They
we just
might
guard and
even,
shot
with
rock.
some really good luck, spill the rock they're raising back too. So we'll see what happens.
You don't see that much of that.
Tough shot.
So you want to guard this and go for the 2?
That's another good choice. They're saying the
It's up to you.
rock on the left is
I just don't see a lot of ways of hurting ourselves. This would
Guarded
have to
may be
graze
difficult
that
to raise.
jam there.
No, because then I can. It's up to you, man.
What do you think of drawing this at 3?
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Guard.
certainly another possibility with only Skips rocks to come from New Brunswick. I don't mind the guard here, and I don't mind throwing
So
the straight
at a
back,
4
and
maybe?
the draw would be interesting. What
Very
draw would you throw? The same draw they've thrown a
Call of
couple
a
of
guard.
times?
90.
Through the hole with the intern?
Yeah, I'd almost tend to go through the one that's closer to the center. So
Halfway
even
tight.
if you feather off the outside, the one near the center line, it takes that one a raise away and opens it up a bit to some extent.
Right on. Well, we'll see shortly whether this is a good choice.
I don't mind a freeze.
The right
No
strategy
bounce,
is
though.
always the one that works, eh, Brian?
Yeah, yes, I'd rather have a shot
Okay, we're gonna overcurl for the
Whoa, guys. Whoa.
Yep. Can you
Made.
tap this a hair?
and
whoa,
being
whoa,
a questionable
overcurl.
shot as opposed to the right shot missed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's overcurling.
Well, I think this is a whoops.
That cock curl real
But
hard.
as it turns out, the angles are interesting. Not sure whether that favors. I think the red team's going to have to play a little tap on that red one in the front 12 foot.
I want to leave ours there.
He's going to have to be careful with his weight selection here. If he overthrows this at all, he's going to end up having only one red rock in the house and looking at 4 yellows. So he's got to keep his shooter around to limit the damage.
Like,
Yeah, I imagine he's going to throw
jam.
hack or even less. We'll have to see what he does here
Push that one to the back of the house, right? Okay.
for the very reason you suggest.
Back house weight, I think. Back house weight, half it up.
Sean Ingersoll from the Miramichi Curling Club. Looks like ice for what, hack weight?
Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 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 Yep, yep, yep. Hurts.
Oh, that's a nice shot.
That is a great shot. You know, boy, I made that call really well, thinking it was hack weight, judging by the ice, but that's a pretty good shot.
I think you got to wait, well, really. I think you got to. It's going to curl no matter what. It curls hard, right?
I just like the line call that New Brunswick has been doing on this this sheet.
I don't know if you can get inside here.
My understanding is that the ice at the Miramichi is one of the best ice surfaces in the Maritimes, and they're used to a fair amount
we gotta guard our one.
of curl there, and you could just tell by their anticipation of the curl that they're quite
No, I said we
comfortable
gotta
with this
guard it.
ice.
Yeah.
We're first and third. Guard it.
Guard it.
Okay, you got her, Mike.
So looks like they're going to throw the guard, and may end up with a draw for 2 at the end, depending on what New Brunswick does.
Just on the center line.
This is a key situation in terms of
more even.
from a strategy perspective. You don't always have to score 2 with your first rock, as long as you have a shot to get 2 with your second, with your last shot.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think
guys.
often people
That's it.
go so
Line's
hard
good.
for that too that they maybe expose the one that's
Wait for it,
already
Scott.
Yep, finish it,
being
hit
looked at, is already
Hard now.
available.
Go, go, go.
Whereas
go,
if
go,
they
go.
Right to that center. Hard.
end up guarding this shot for
Rita!
one and then get an
Gotta
easy
go hard!
or a more difficult
Hard,
shot for 2,
hard,
they're
hard,
happy
hard.
to get
Keep
one
going.
at the end.
Keep going. Should have taken it away, I think. It's going to be close.
I don't know.
Can't play it, I don't think, Paul.
Boy, I think the hole is there, Earl.
Yeah, it just depends on how comfortable Sean is at throwing heavy weight, but definitely going to move some rocks around here.
We hit it just on this side. It should drag a bit back.
Blew it there. 'Cause it was so hard to
Interesting,
hurt.
yeah. We're talking drag effect here with the yellow and red one.
I don't.
Wide draw.
What is the drag effect, Earl?
Well, basically, it's an opportunity to get when you got a couple of rocks that are really, really close to each other, and you end up hitting them in a proper angle. They'll go at an angle that you're not anticipating. So, for example, if you look on the screen at the red and yellow one, if you were to hit the yellow one on the right side, straight back, what ends up happening is the red rock is going to go back straighter than you expect. It's going to hit the rock on the 12-foot more on the left side than you'd expect, and there is the potential for it to maybe hit the red one that's leaning against the shot rock right now. So we'll see whether all of this happens, although I'm not sure what they're throwing for weight. I think they're just going to move everything up and maybe nudge the red one into a shot position. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I have a feeling he might be throwing a little bit more weight, but this is kind of exciting, Earl. Here we are, we're playing the first end, and we got a quad already.
That's right. Looks like he's maybe tapping it.
Oh, no. Whoa. Good.
That makes the draw for 2 a little tougher, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
A little straighter than yesterday.
What I like here with the players are on the clock, and you could tell that Northern Ontario was already anticipating what they had to do to get their
Basically,
deuce.
wick it in. That's
Yeah, that was
They
smart.
were over there already
off the yellow
to,
if it really
to
curls.
give it a go.
Yeah, and judging by the pace of this first end, I think that's smart thinking for both teams here. Funny, sometimes people, start a game in an aggressive manner, and then after they get that end out of the way, they maybe settle down and play a bit more conservatively. So we'll see whether this trend is going to continue for the next 8 ends where a lot of rocks in play, or whether
Not
this
yet.
is just
yet.
first end
Not curling. No, no,
jitters
no, no,
a little
no.
bit for both of them.
All right. All right, Mike.
Tough shot.
One
It's out in
yellow.
the weeds, trying to guess what the line is,
Yeah.
trying to
Rocks
tick it
there.
in.
Holy.
Pretty
Still
hopeless
happy to have one.
attempt, but
Nice way to start the
you never
game.
know. If it just wicks it in
So
there.
after
something
end
like that.
number 1, it's Northern Ontario 1, New Brunswick is
That
0.
was the only chance I had. Got another one there.
1
that was a good one.
Well, pretty interesting first end.
Yeah, exactly.
And we got some games that we can update you on the other sheets as well. The Yukon Territories up 1-0 against Manitoba after one. On sheet 1. On sheet 2, we've got the Team Ontario women are ahead 3-0 over La Belle Province. And on sheet 3,
Top four.
we got a game between BC and Northwest Territories. And once the bodies move just a little bit, I'll bring you an update on that. But I'll go to sheet 4 here, where it's donuts after sheet 1 between PEI and Nova
Line's
Scotia.
good.
And of course on sheet F, it's Newfoundland against Nunavut.
I think
And
we're okay.
None of it hit them
wow,
for 3.
good for them.
Yeah, it's in the
3-0
middle
for
now.
Nunavut.
Yep,
And
yep,
back
yep,
to the
yep, yep.
game on
Right to the
sheet
floor,
C,
come on.
it's BC 3 and Northwest Territories 0.
Okay, dude, good throw.
Ah, boy.
And
Tough
here
one
we
on
are in the
last one,
second
Mike.
end.
Yeah.
Didn't move like we
Didn't,
thought, eh?
didn't curl, no.
So look like Sean says, you know what, a little more conservative end here in the second. Instead of throwing a corner, he's going to hit that in the nose.
Nice throw, D. Must be straighter out there, Mo.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yep. Hard. 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 Read up. Read up. Hard. Hard. Right to it. Right to it. Hard. Sit.
Nice, D.
Sit. 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 Spin.
Oh, well brushed. Saved
Attaboy,
that
D.
shot.
Nice
Good
throw.
for them.
Never. 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 Never.
Boy, that one didn't move very much, Earl. I'm right behind the sheet, and he threw that pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
Really
and
don't need
and
to
it
spread 'em out that
points
much.
out the
We can
importance of
almost go right
brushing
here.
yet again, because those guys
Or we go here.
held that hit so that they got a roll that was still in play, and now Northern Ontario has a chance to lie too.
Yeah. 60, 65.
Line's good.
63.
Okay, clean it then. Light clean. Light clean. Okay, just try to get him even now.
Of course, this thrower is Andrew Hackner, the son of Al Hackner from
Nice throw, Harry.
Northern Ontario. And of course, a two-time world curling champion. That's Al, not his son. The son has still lots of time to catch up to his dad, Brian?
Oh, yes. He throws a pretty nice rock. Yeah.
Oh, got a piece, though. Good job, Mike.
Nice to give a shout out to Miramichi, New Brunswick. I was lucky enough to be posted there in the military many years ago when it was called Chatham, and I really enjoyed the neighborhood, enjoyed Logieville, and enjoyed just great people in that area of the country.
Yeah, make sure it's here.
Weight's good, Mike. Beauty hack.
Shoot.
And a nice draw by Andrew Heckner.
Nice pair. 66.
What do you think of 8-end games, Brian?
Well, I'm not a big fan of 8-end games in key competitions in club play. Love 8-ends in smaller bonspiels or less prestigious bonspiels. 8-ends is great, but for championships like the Brier or like the Tournament Hearts, I'm a huge fan of 10-ends.
Yeah, I agree. I think that 10 ends gives you more opportunity to come back if you get behind. I know the experimentation that's going on with the slam events where they play the 5-rock rule is, I think, a necessary adjustment to the way you play, because in 8 ends, if you get down early, it's often very difficult when you're playing great teams to come back. So I know there's pressure, I think, from television and other things to keep the games a little shorter, but hopefully we can stay to 10, and if not, I think there needs to be another rule adjustment like they're doing on the slam events.
I love that 5-rock rule. I kind of think it's a good move in the right direction. But I'm hopeful. I've just seen too many games, 8-end games, end in 2 or 3 ends. People are shaking hands and.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen in this one. I think we had a good game here, and hopefully go down right down to the last rock.
Oh boy, Mo, good shot. Even, put it even. Beauty.
Hard, read to it. Read up. Read up. Hard, guys. Hard, hard, hard. Go, go, go. Got to stick it right there. Hard. Good. Good
Sweet, boys.
So that was Mitch Shallow's second rock. And reading over in Mitch's bio here, it says he broke the Guinness World Record for curling in the longest ever curling game. Lasted over 50 hours.
Whoa. Never. Never. Never.
Yeah, boy, Earl, if you up your weight at all on this side, it seems to track pretty good.
Yeah.
Normal?
Yeah, we're not throwing no more control.
Okay.
Unless we have to. Normal. Had watching the control for a while. Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll curl. Starting on that side of the line, it'll curl. Yep.
Whoa, yep.
Hard. Hard.
Right up, guys.
Hard.
Hard.
Read up. Hard, hard, hard.
Hard, hard, hard.
Read to it. You got it. Hard.
Hard, 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 hard.
Good sweep.
Oh boy, Mike, good sweep, guys.
Another shot well brushed. Looked like he might have just been a little narrow on that one, but they picked it up early, and Northern Ontario lies 3.
We're struggling a little bit with the hits, so let's just.
I think it's 3, eh, Brian? That one looks in over there in the corner.
Yep, I think it is.
Nice that curl.
If you notice, New Brunswick have tightened up the ice. The third didn't quite get to the rock with his last shot, so they've tightened up the ice. So it's running fairly straight if you up your weight at all.
Better off. What we normally do.
Yeah. He's great. Then you're not taking the punch.
Less guesses.
Yeah, less guesses.
Hold. Oh. Yep.
Yeah, good shot. He threw that really, really well. It's interesting, Earl. One skip likes outside in, and the other skip likes inside out.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. It's interesting, that Mike has just seen Sean throw an out turn down there to hit and stay, but he elects to throw the in turn here. And you know what? It's all about throwing the shot that you feel good about. And if that's what you prefer, I mean, in this case, with the great sweeping and maybe the extra curl inside out, Mike kind of likes to do this, so maybe a sweeper's going to help him out. I don't know, or it might be just his preference. So whatever works.
Right on the beat. Or a hair of a roll your way is ideal.
You can lift your pipes.
Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa.
That boy, Mike.
Roll it behind. There you go. Just gotta draw the button.
So again, picking up on something you mentioned earlier, where Northern Ontario was thinking ahead last end, here we've got Sean Ingersoll. As soon as the rock settled, went down right away to throw his draw. So he's been preparing for this shot, and it's always a smart thing to do ahead of time. It eats up some time, and it's a chance for you to get mentally prepped to throw a good one.
I expect him to be really close with this shot. This was the turn he took to the draw to the button, and so he should be pretty comfortable with this ice. Boy, they're going to have to go hard on that one, Earl.
Big deal with green.
He just wants to go in there. Looks like he could. What's the last rock, eh? So he's trying to. Yeah. Steal it through.
Sweet, boys.
Ouch.
Boy, the sweepers jumped on that right away, and they were fortunate that they got in to cut the third rock out.
Down. It did that to us yesterday.
Well swept.
We also had passy, like fast passes.
Yeah, you got her, D.
Score after two ends, it's Northern Ontario 3, New Brunswick 0.
Top four, make sure it's here.
I got a 94. 97. Gotta go.
Go
I
ahead,
suspect,
right
Earl,
now.
we're going to see New Brunswick
Just tight.
put a few more
We got
rocks
this
in play this
We got
end.
this in.
Yeah, for sure. You know, back to the business of it's an 8-end game and it's 3-0, and yeah, you're going to have to try and do something aggressive to try to score a couple of points, and sometimes that can pay off, and sometimes it can lead to less than stellar results because you take more risk, play tougher shots, and sometimes that's not easy to do. We got some updates on the other sheets as well. Maybe we'll go in the reverse order, starting with F, where none of it is playing Newfoundland, and of course none of it was ahead 3-0, but that lead was in short order because it's now 4-3 for Newfoundland after two ends. And sheet D, we have the game between Nova Scotia women and PEI, and it's 1-0 for PEI after two ends. And the score is just going up in Sheet C in the men's game between between British Columbia and the Northwest Territories. And it's 4-0 for BC over Northwest Territories. And,
Line's good.
on Sheet 2, Sheet B, correction, it's Quebec 1, Ontario 3. 3-1 Ontario over Quebec, and it's a 1-1 tie
Quicker path here.
on Sheet A.
Right
And
through
that's
it. Yeah, right through. Go.
between-
Yeah, right through. Hard. Gas it. We don't want anything in the back.
Yukon and Manitoba.
Go. Get it out of there.
Quicker. Yeah.
So New Brunswick with the hammer, and Sean asked Hubert Williston his lead to throw the left-hander's out turn around the corner guard.
We actually have 2 left-handers on New Brunswick's team, so I expect a comeback here, Earl.
Thought you were only limited to one left-hander. You must be sparing there today.
Well, just up to.
Yeah, it's always interesting for skips to have to figure out people throwing from the left-handed hack, from the right-handed hack. There's some adjustments, and of course Glenn Howard was very good at that with Richard Hart, a great left-hander, and we'll see how these left-handers do in the rest of this game.
Normal. Clean. Yep. Hard. Right to it. Little flop. Okay, good.
Michael Prince with his first rock, asking for a hit and roll from Sean Ingersoll, skip. Trying to use that corner guard, get something going here, score a couple of points.
Boy, oh boy, you just up your weight a little bit there, Earl, and she runs pretty straight.
Yeah, you get sweet fresh air. And now a chance for Mike Assad's Northern Ontario team and Andrew Hackner to rip the guard and keep the end simple and make it difficult for New Brunswick to score more than a point.
Good.
That was a nice shot.
Yeah, that was better.
We've used this path a few times.
I noticed on that shot as well, he skipped, tightened up the ice, as well the player threw less weight.
Yeah.
And good results.
Good results, and maybe New Brunswick will have to adjust their end goals here and maybe be patient and try for the blank at this point and try to score multiples in the next end. So we'll see how this plays out.
Okay, that's what we want.
Make sure, guys.
Just T. Don't need to go any further than T. Yep, a little bit. Yep. Attaboy. Good judge.
mind you, curling's a funny game. And, you know, you make a hit and roll here, maybe get a jam, and you're able to create something out of nothing and end up getting a deuce another way. So we'll see.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ice is getting dirty.
Well, he got the roll, Earl. There's potential.
Yeah.
Normal, boys.
Well, and of course, the nice part about the roll is that the player throwing the rock's going to be saying to himself, I have to hit, if I don't hit it on the nose, I have to hit it high side, and maybe rolls out, and therefore does make the blank more achievable. So lots of good things because of that roll, but this looks like it's throwing really well. And we'll stay around till I-2.
Thanks. What turn do you want?
I really like that when the skip asks the player, what turn do you want? I think a player often has a clear view in his mind what he'd prefer, and it's a great opportunity for him to get to pick that choice.
Right up. Right up. Right up. Right up.
Hard.
Ooh, great roll.
Yeah.
Great roll. And again, Northern Ontario is sticking to playing inside out on these hits.
Glad we're not shot.
Obviously pretty comfortable with the ice there.
Is it going anywhere near this thing? Normal. Should run pretty true. Should curl.
Whoa.
Yep. Yep. Hard.
Hard, guys.
Hard. Hard.
Right up.
Read up. Clean. Clean. Clean.
Clean, just clean, just clean. Oh, boy. Nice.
Yeah, I like sticking with the normal.
Yeah, me too.
Between Red Rock and Michigan or Red Rock.
And then you up it or something and it doesn't curl, or you crank it and it just
Yeah,
goes
or you're
sideways.
a little bit. At least
down a little
normals.
bit, yeah.
The lowest we're gonna get is control with a left
Yeah.
forward or bump.
Yeah. Let's see what this does from Whale here.
Whoa. 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 Let it curl all day. Let it curl.
It's like a pretty good shot. A good example here, Earl. You can go outside in and make the shot, or you can throw inside out and make the shot. They're both shooting really well.
Yeah. Well, it's also a testament to the great ice.
See if we can take one here.
Yeah. Why does that look like a little bit of tight ice to me?
You know, it's interesting. You could probably talk to Mike at some point and say, well, why is it you do that? It might be as simple as, you know, we just wait till we get a feel for the ice, and if the ice presents itself to us such that it works great on the takeouts from inside out, we'll do that, or vice versa. So it may be a preference all season for this team, or maybe a preference just for this event and this particular ice that they're playing on. Either way, it's working.
Yep. That was a key shot. Often when you hit, sometimes it doesn't matter whether you hit and roll out because it doesn't change much. But by hitting and staying, you are now forcing the other team to score, which is what your
Absolutely.
game plan was.
And
Whoa. Let it curl.
Sean,
let
of
it curl.
course, was looking for two, or Sean was looking for a blank, and puts a little extra pressure on, and unfortunately rolled out.
So the score now after 3 ends, it's Northern Ontario 4, New Brunswick 0.
That one ran a little bit different than your first one. First one hooped in there nice. That one just didn't seem to catch that curl.
Is that Mike?
I guess it was in a different spot too. It wasn't quite as wide. Yeah.
4.
Make sure it's here.
8. I got 88. It's
We're
there.
down the center a bit.
What do we want? Top 4.
Make sure, guys. Let's get it on the red here. Just
It's on the red. It's on the red.
Touch the red and we're good. Attaboy, good judge. Good end, guys.
Throws,
Keep
Mike.
going.
Attaboy, D.
No, she's laying in bed watching the game.
Doesn't want it in, eh? Whoa. Whoa, horsey. Got it, Obert.
Doesn't get any closer than that, does it?
I can't
Call for
say.
a member?
Yeah.
Measure on this one.
Yeah, just to see if it's in.
I wouldn't bet on either one there. In or out. I don't know.
Stop the clock.
So I'm going to measure here to see whether that rock is in the house or not. Of course, if it's not in the house, it can't be
Yeah, it's close.
hit out of play.
Which
So it's critical.
number
Yeah,
one?
this is one of the unique situations, one of the few times that you can actually measure a rock before the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of,
Just
this
might
is
have
kind of
that
interesting.
One little,
Like, just that gray.
Looks out to me, Brian.
Little outer part.
yeah, that would make a difference.
More interesting if it's out, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. You want it out so that.
Yeah, it's touching the outer little ring that you're talking about.
Well, they got the official coming in here, and
Yeah, well, that's what
he'll
they
make a
call it.
judgment.
Earl, you've coached at a number of nationals. And in the pregame practices, do you have your team go out and check, see how accurate the rings are? Or do you get an indication from the officials what they think the ice is like?
Well, you know, it's a great idea to do that, and I'd have to say, if I'm honest with you, that sometimes we remember and sometimes we don't. It should be on our list of things to do all the time, so we don't always. And perhaps it's just a case of for so many years, the ice has been so fantastic that it's seldom
Whoa! No,
not
no,
like it
no.
presents itself. So the 12-foot is indeed
Curl.
the 12-foot. And that rock was in, so they're going to whack it. Northern Ontario is. And, slip
That
double.
works.
That's okay, G.
Almost the Hackner shot from 1985.
This would be a case, Earl, when if you had the 5-rock rule, it would be looking pretty good for New Brunswick.
Mm-hmm.
They could put a corner guard up, and they've got one behind the tee.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're playing the 4-rock rule, and I expect Northern Ontario to go up and peel that one off.
Beauty, Hoop. Good. Hands. Good one.
And inside out on the peel continues
But they,
for Northern Ontario.
I watched they let it, they ticked it off in their head.
Clean. Yep. Hard. Clean. Clean. Just clean. Catch that red. Good.
Good rock management on that one, Earl,
Throw hack.
or the skip. asked the sweepers to grab the one rock that was heading over to the other sheet. And in fact, there was 2 other rocks on the other sheet that were right close to the boards as well. So good management. For you skips out there, you should be paying attention to that.
Michael Prince's first rock, no surprise. Another corner guard.
I wanted a guard.
It's in, John.
Looks like they might
Probably
be
key
talking
line.
plan B here, maybe freezing up to that one in the back since he's a little heavy.
Or better. Heel weight here. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Looks like a pretty simple shot, but if you hang around, maybe a little pocket for New Brunswick.
Heel. Yep.
Yeah, it ended up in a fairly an okay spot in that you can't double them out.
Hard read up.
At least I don't believe you can.
Clean.
He's going to be
Good throw.
close, though. No.
Come on, Mike. Guard. Nice throw, Sack. Same.
Let's give you an update on the other sheets. Starting at sheet A at the end of the third end, it's 4-1 for Yukon Territories over Manitoba. And sheet B, Quebec women are losing 3-2 to Ontario after 3 ends. On sheet C,
No, it's a guard.
in the BC game against the Yukon.
Guard's fine.
Yeah.
Got Mike.
Northwest Territories.
Northwest Territories. Sorry, folks from up north. It's 6-0 for British Columbia. Sheet D. We've got the game between PEI and Nova Scotia, and it's a very tight defensive battle so
Yeah,
far.
hard.
1-0 for PEI
Whoa.
over
Whoa.
Nova Scotia.
Yep. Hard.
And
Real hard. Whoa.
a close
Whoa,
one
whoa,
in
whoa,
sheet
whoa,
F,
whoa, whoa. Let it curl.
with none of it, scoring 1 in the third end against Newfoundland, so it's a 4-4 tie. And of course, Sean's now going for a shot we'd expect he'd go to eventually if those corner guards weren't successful. He's going to throw the freeze.
Geez, I like the curl on this ice, Earl. Good ice, 4.5-foot curl.
Yeah.
Great ice.
Got to curl. Got to curl some, guys.
As long as we're in front of this, doesn't have to be totally frozen. Yeah, line's real good now. Line's real good. Lock it on. Lock it on. Yeah.
Great team shot, great communication, well thrown, well swept, well called, and close to a perfect freeze,
Same
forcing
weight.
Northern Ontario to
Hey.
throw big weight to try to get rid of this shot.
Yep. 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 Clean. Whoa. Whoa. Clean. 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 There you go. Yeah. I didn't do it the second time. I just
One of the
did same
toughest
way.
shots in curling, eh? Brian, the perfect freeze, especially these days where people are so good at throwing a heavy weight accurately.
It's almost impossible not to be able to peel a rock out if you can throw the big weight. You can just hit it so hard and spill them out, which makes the freeze that much more difficult.
No line. Got no line yet.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yep, finish it off. Just leave it, eh, Mike? Yeah, just leave it. Actually, because we're
Just don't want to get too cute.
oh, if we lose the back one, that's fine.
I think that's a great point. I'm just hearing Mike say, I don't want to get too cute here. Name of the game is to play the scoreboard. You're up 4-0, make it go away.
Solid normal. Yeah. So I love a nose hit, but we don't want to get too
With the situation we've got now, New Brunswick has forced Northern Ontario to go outside in to make that hit. Last end coming this way, when they had one there, they went inside out.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Hard!
Hard, guys.
Whoa! Whoa!
Whoa.
Okay, it's rolling out. That's fine.
All right, Mike.
A little cautious.
I like that shot, Earl. Some people would say, well, you only get half a shot because you rolled out. But in fact, they didn't want that that shooter to stay around.
Yeah, it was a good shot. I almost wonder if a little less ice might be in order here. Those last two rocks that New Brunswick threw ended up not quite getting to the face. I don't know if he's tightened up his ice here at all or not. Can you get a sense for that, Brian?
Yeah, what I think happened on the first two, the first one the third through, it actually lost its handle coming into the house.
All right.
And his second one was really, really slow as well. And I think if he had a little bit more handle, it would have come over.
Watch the angle.
Yeah, right from the teeth. Bounce it. Hard, 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 hard.
That had a little better handle on that one.
That would have been perfect with just an extra, worth about a foot less weight, eh?
Yep.
Same thing. Solid normal.
Keep it clean, guys.
Go to a break. This end.
Should be all right. Yep.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, clean. Clean.
Whoa.
Clean's fine.
Hi, boy, Mike.
Looks like he's pretty good with either turn.
No problems there whatsoever. We're right behind the sheet, and he came right at the broom and threw it real nice. Had a nice release.
Against the green and try and take one here.
Well, he did tighten up the ice on this one, Earl. Of course, he did tap it a little to the to our left.
Got backing.
Line looks real good.
Great shot. Well swept, and hey, New Brunswick on the board. After 4 ends of play, it's 4-1 for Northern Ontario over New Brunswick.
And we're just going to have a 5-minute break at the fifth end, and teams will be coming off and using the facilities, and we'll be back.
This curling season of champions brings clans from across your native land to engage in a battle of wits on a frozen sheet of hellfire. So go on, live it live.
The Tim Hortons Brier is at TD Place in Ottawa, March 5th to 13th. Be there and live it live.
Two months premature, and a heart condition. One might say I was born to overcome challenges. I searched for my place in this world, and I found it here. This pebbled ice is where I battle now. I have my sights set on the Olympics, and I will push hard to get there.
Why are you watching a tourney on this wee magic box?
Magic box?
Right now, there are 4 different games going on, and all you can see is one.
There's highlights.
In curling, each stone thrown can define the match. And you are waiting for highlights. You should be there, living it live.
The Tim Hortons Brier is at TD Place in Ottawa, March 5th to 13th. Be there and live it live.
Welcome back. I'll give you an update on the sheets over on sheet A. It's Yukon Yukon leading Manitoba 4-3, and Yukon has a hammer.
Fine. Yes, that's
On sheet B, Ontario
Top 8.
and Quebec are all tied up. Ontario scored 3 the first end, and Quebec has come back with singles in the second, third, and fourth. On sheet C, BC has brought their game plan today.
Line's good.
They are up
I got
right now
7.
9-0 over
Push.
the Northwest Territories.
Close. Clean.
On sheet D,
Rope.
PEI and Nova Scotia. That's a ladies' game, and it's 1-1. And over on sheet F, Newfoundland has scored. I'm just trying to get the score sheet over there. They've scored 3 in the fourth and are up right now 7-4.
They might run out a scoreboard over there, Brian, and sheet F. Offensive game, eh?
Yes, lots of rocks in play.
Mike says,
Well, and of course, over here on our sheet, New Brunswick would like to have lots of rocks in play. So let's see if they can make it entertaining. So far, so good. They got a short one on the center line. They can go to work with that. Good short rocks. Of course, it's always nice if you can line them up one behind the other. It's much more difficult for a team to make a double peel at some point because they can't risk throwing a straight back. But still, those are good rocks in play.
Gotta go. Make sure it's here. Let him be in the rings. Okay, good sweep.
Well, that's going to be helpful for New Brunswick, potentially. Another short rock.
second, Mike.
With this curl, Earl, it's no problems getting to the 4 foot with either turn. The ice is so nice.
Michael Prince trying to out-turn come around.
Gotta let it work if you can. It's light.
What's he getting?
Well, a chance to make a difference here. Double
Yep,
peel would
yep.
certainly help
Hard. Hard.
Northern Ontario.
Hard. Well, yep. Yep. Oh. Caught right in the middle. Sorry.
A tweener.
Oh, got a little bad luck on that one. Bang, bang sort of thing. At one time I thought they were going to get a triple.
He says we got caught in the middle. He was calling one way and he should have aborted to the other way. Too late. But good throw. Wait, Ollie. Good weight. In the house. Whoa. Yep. 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 Hard all the way. Hard all the way.
That was a nice throw, Earl.
Yeah, it sure was. Well done for Michael Prince. Gives New Brunswick a shot at the steal here. They can keep maintaining the situation.
You're my hero, buddy.
Whoa. Whoa.
These two?
Maybe these two.
Boy, he's coming within a fraction of an inch of making both those shots. But the end result is that there's still 3 rocks out front.
Yeah.
He threw them a heck of a lot better than the end result.
Yeah. I agree.
Want to go around? Yeah, I think so.
Changing handle, Sean. Pick the other handle. Pick the right. Pick.
We saw that last stand when he was throwing the draws and his handle came off the rock. And there's another example of one where it actually grabbed the other turn.
Maybe you should get him to throw a bit more, put more handle on the rock, obviously. Because the answer, especially on curly ice, it's so important.
Whoa! Going for the double peel. Whoa, though. Curl. Curl, curl, curl. Okay, that works.
Well, that's considerably better.
Guard. That's all right, I guess. Guard his
I'll go watch him his release here to see what kind of handle he puts on.
I'd rather be missing on the wrong, not side of the boom.
Hate to mention he's a left-hander, Brian, but
Got to curl, guys. Got to work first.
Yeah, gotta go, guys. Gotta go hard. Gotta go, further to go, every inch.
Yeah, and
go,
that
guys.
was pretty smudgy, eh?
Sweeping.
Yeah. That shouldn't even be in play, eh? That's not in the way?
well, that needed to curl
Yeah, I
just a
got it
little bit
right.
more.
Normal.
Looks like Northern Ontario's got a good chance to throw a straight back here that could result in them lying too.
Yeah, hard! Hard!
Oh, yeah, way
Real hard! Read up, hard! Gotta go! Right to it! Roll it, Hack, roll it off!
Bad release.
Well, the theory was to throw the straight back, but I think
I know.
that just
Slid
got a
tight
little
and I had a
narrow
bad
on
release
that
on that
one. Mitch Shallow did, and so that steal is still alive for New Brunswick.
Yeah. What do you like here, Earl? Do you like to go in and sit
Way tight there.
sit two, or do you throw another guard and sit two with your last?
I think I'd throw another guard on this one, and
You almost get inside your brain. Don't send
and
it
then
back.
I might go
Don't
in
send it
after
back,
that to lie
right?
to and put more pressure on him.
Slid tight. Thinking, I don't want to set it. You don't want to hang it on the other side of the line.
They know the line for the guard, and it means that Northern Ontario will have to make an interesting choice. They'll either have to peel the guard or else beat him in. My guess is that we'll see, they'll peel the guard.
Oh no, he's guarded. It's good.
Okay, over and off.
Needs to curl. Looks like it's getting better.
Just corner it. Uh-oh.
They might just try to corner freeze that one, and it's golden.
Not that angle.
Yeah, that's too bad that they didn't just communicate a little bit more effectively on that one. They could have got an angle freeze, and that would make all the difference in the world. Now it's a room service straight back and the potential for Northern Ontario to lie two here.
Dead on the nose, they make it back.
Right.
So close to a really, really good shot.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, I think they could have swept that one a little
or
better.
just,
Even
like,
even
just
tapping
off
it
nose.
slightly would have worked out better than they ended up.
I
Just
think it
bad luck.
starts with a better conversation. If they had a better conversation, giving more input in terms of where the rock is at, they might have ended up with that angle freeze and would have been a lot happier.
Normal.
It's always
Like
the
to hit it
little
on
things
Andy's
that make a
side.
difference.
Either roll it in.
It's
or
often
just
little
stagger
things that
it
make a
in.
difference in a
This is
game of
gonna be
curling, and
frozen.
here's a
You
good
don't wanna hit
example.
a dead nose. Normal. Think we need a little more ice then? You don't think so? What do you think?
Inside out.
Surprise, surprise.
Yep.
Whoa! Yep!
Yep.
Whoa!
Hard.
Whoa! Line 2?
Well done, line 2. That's a great shot.
That's what we wanted.
Absolutely vital here to get the roll.
Well, I mean, it don't matter. It's just it's only going to be here if we roll it.
He has two options. He's looking at both of them. He can draw. He's thrown some nice draws in the last couple of ends. So I think he's pretty comfortable with his draw weight.
Well, and of course, the nice part about the draw is it's a better chance to steal because it's going to be, if he makes it really well, in the 4-foot. Whereas if he makes a great hit and roll, Mike probably just puts the broom down and draws into the 4-foot. So I think this is a great choice.
Right there.
I like this call. Yep. The one he's got to watch out for is the one that's biting the house.
You got to draw, guys.
He can come by that top yellow one by quite a ways, and but it's the back one that you've got to get by. We're watching the line call on this one.
Yeah, and another example, absolutely watching the line, another example of how important communication is going to be in terms of the final outcome here.
Lots of room yet.
See, it'd be nice to hear
Whoa,
from the front end whether they're happy with the weight.
Let it curl. It's got to curl. Yep.
Oh, he did rub that one. It was way out there, and he rubbed the one I was worried about.
Light all day.
That's too bad. That was just a golden shot. Looked really good. Great opportunity for Northern Ontario here to score 3. I think the most important thing here is to make sure they get 2 and not be too cute for 3, because 2 is going to be a big difference maker.
We could go normal. That guard's nowhere near in play, but I called control initially. Like control, bang it with the brooms? You like normal? Even if we pick it for 2, eh? Okay, normal. It's all there, though.
I like that little procedure they went through, Earl. They talked about the weight, and I think they adjusted the weight from what they were going to do. So they signaled to the guy on the tee to let him know what the weight was. And he signaled back saying, "Gotcha."
Curl! Come on, don't! No way.
No. One yellow?
1 yellow.
Yeah.
I'm always keen, Earl. Anytime I've got a lead and you
That
put
was
another
easy,
point
Laurel?
on the board, that's a positive.
Wow, did it ever hang?
Agree. Yeah,
That really
for sure.
did not move for easy normal, eh? Holy crap.
Seemed like they were happy with the ice
just
and
did
the
not
weight
move,
and
eh?
everything else, and they're having a good conversation about that right now, that they were surprised that it didn't curl a little bit more. But as you say, they put a point in the board, and when you get a 4-1 lead, that's huge.
Wow. Surprised me.
4D. All those catchers and stuff.
Yeah, it just stayed right there, eh? Top 4, make sure it's
I
here.
got 84. Weight should be good.
Hard, looks like it's light. Just tight. We gotta get this in. We gotta be in, guys, come on. Can't be slow cards, we're up 4. Come on. Bring it back.
All right, Coach Earl, you see 3 guys sweeping. Is that effective?
Well, I guess it's the kind of thing that I would say it feels good to have everybody out there from a team dynamics point of view working hard to try and get it in there. But the additional help from the third guy is normally pretty minimal, that's for sure. But I like it as a concept.
You dodged that one pretty good, Earl.
I like it as a concept because it makes the thrower feel, hey, my guys are working hard for me here, and so there's nothing wrong with that.
There, we got 2 corners.
Here's a good situation that New Brunswick might have thought about. That yellow one was to their advantage, and they probably could have thrown a guard on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well. Clean. Good.
Yeah, absolutely. That would have been a great choice.
Ah, boy, D.
Good deal. I think it's getting a little slower down the middle, eh?
It is.
Yeah, out here. What? Yeah?
Some updates from across the board. Sheet A, Yukon Territories 5, Manitoba 3 after 5 ends. Sheet B, Quebec up 5-3 on Ontario. Ontario started the game with a 3 and Quebec has scored every end since.
Close.
Sheet C, BC and Northwest Territories. BC's up 9-0. And on sheet D,
Good try, Hack.
Nova Scotia
Nice
playing
throw.
PEI. It's 4-1 for PEI. PEI scored a 3-ender in the 5th to take that lead. And on sheet F, the game between Newfoundland and Nunavut. After the 5th end, it's 8-4. 8-4 for Newfoundland. And the ice is getting slower, I heard them say on our sheet. Not unusual as the game goes on.
We've had this debate before, Earl, in terms of when do you put up a second guard and when do you use your first guard? What's your thoughts?
Yep. Hard. Read up. Read to it. Hard. Holy Ghost happening.
Well, if there's an if there's an advantage that you have when you're behind 5-1, it's normally that the other team is going to be prepared to give you a deuce if they have to. So they're going to be always hitting the guards no matter where you put them. And I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, Brian, but you said when is it time to come around the guard versus put up another one?
Yes.
Yeah. I think when you're behind like this, you can afford to wait a little longer because I think the other team feels an obligation to keep it simple and keep banging away. So looks like the third guard's going up over in the side where the two are frozen. And I think Mike's going to continue to hit away here and probably with New Brunswick's third's second rock, at the very latest, they're going to go.
That's fine, Mike.
It may be moot, though, at this point because
What do we want to do? What do you guys want to do? Hit
with
this
those two
one?
guards frozen, it's there's lots of possibilities here. They can make everything leave
call.
town here with an outturn
Pumpkin.
slash.
Okay, boys.
And I really like this call because you throw it hard, you hit it high side, good chance that everything's going to go.
Well, yep. Well, clean.
Yeah,
Or
it was
did
a
they
bad
play
slide.
it low side all the
Speed
way?
wobble.
I think he was tight on release.
Yeah, maybe that was it, eh? It looked to me like the signal was to
I was doing
try
a
and make
dance
them
in
all
that.
go away, but his weight wasn't particularly heavy, and if anything, he may have been slightly inside. But it was a good plan B, if that's what they played then.
Far as you can, guys.
Do you think there's a possibility of
Shoot him out.
tapping that red one in and rolling your shooter in as well, Earl? If they get an opportunity next shot?
Yeah, well, for sure. I think that's certainly an interesting opportunity.
What option is this?
And maybe Mike is sizing that up right now.
Peel?
I don't mind that call, Mike, because if we guard, if I'm
If you
good,
get
we
the
make
guard,
that-
you get the guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this could block their path.
Yeah, well thought
All you
out
gotta
here,
do is hit
Brian.
it hair
eh?
high.
Looking at
Get
hitting
the guard, that's fine.
Yeah.
the yellow rock
Just
slightly on the
abnormal
outside
firm.
and hopefully rolling it over into the house. And that's a good choice. And Mitch, who's throwing this, says, you know, and another possibility is if I happen to hit the guard, that's fine too. So
Hard,
lots of good options here
Hard, guys.
hard,
on this shot.
hard, read up, read to it, hard, hard, hard. Didn't catch it high, okay, that's fine. Oh, that's good though, lined up.
Even that's not so bad, eh?
No.
So
but,
they come around, they have to be a little deeper here because of that, so that they don't have a double.
Oh, God.
If I think I'm
Raise.
New Brunswick, I'm pretty happy with the situation now. Two is
Control on those rocks.
is in the equation for sure now, and he's pretty well the 4 foot's wide open as well. Should he get into trouble?
Yeah.
Good throw. That was pure.
I like that call way better because if I was tight, peel the guard,
Get
right?
the guard, exactly.
Or if we just go for the guard and something happens.
This looks like it's
Gonna have to go on this one and
have
get
to
it
go
by.
away, yeah.
Hurt! Hurt! Keep her going.
Well brushed.
Keep her going.
Wow, great job. Great job.
Right in the wheelhouse. Sweep him, guys. There we go.
Well, here's the angle set up.
Yeah, that's too bad. You know, if they get by those yellow ones, it's passed back far enough that I think the double raise is not going to be effective. But it looks really good for them here.
If it was the case, I wouldn't even mind going behind the tee on that one.
Yep.
That is bad. Wrong side of the ear.
Ooh, this could be interesting, Earl.
Yeah. Might be a glimmer. Oh, unless he rolls for shot, which he didn't.
Did run. Did I have more?
Well, is there a possibility of throwing light hack and lining two partially buried, or do you just throw to the other side and say over to you?
Actually, you did take a bit of a tighter line too, because you were making sure you hit something.
I kind of like trying to score 3.
Yeah, I think based on the scoreboard, I would, and the fact that it does curl there enough, they know the spot really well. They're to throw some back ring, or a little heavier probably than back ring to make sure it gets out of dodge. They could lie two buried and put some heat on. But this is a good choice too, a little more conservative. But based on the scoreboard, maybe I might be all in here and try the out-turn hack weight shot. But you know what? When you only scored 1 point and 5 ends, it feels pretty darn good to have a draw for 2 that sets you up to score 2. So I get this too.
Full 8. Back 8's not.
Nicely thrown. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, great spot. Nothing much you can do about this. And of course, again, Mike's playing the scoreboard. He's up 5-1. He says, "Okay."
Normal.
Sorry,
Just stick it
correction.
right on the
Yeah, it's
feet.
5-1, and
They'll roll your way,
hits the
they'll
open
take
one rather than
roll
trying
his
something
way in.
fancy on the other side. And good opportunity for the Miramichi boys to pick up a deuce.
Whoa! Yep, yep! Hard! Clean! Whoa! 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 Whoa, 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 whoa. Almost.
Yeah, I know, but we didn't want him to be shot.
You want to be shot.
They gotta hit it?
Okay, we're shot.
Sorry.
Thought it was going to curl a little more, eh?
Sean puts his experienced eyes to work, and we have the benefit of the overhead here. But
Full eight. No, we're shot.
yeah, there you go. Got a free draw for 2.
It says in front which week they are, so
This path will run a little bit. So to me, there's not those like that.
It again.
Doesn't look heavy.
No, they're going to have to go on that one.
There. It's not there.
Might be fudging a bit, Earl, in the center. They commented on it in the early part of the end, and that was going back to the center.
Close.
The one shot I
think
can
it's
be
red, but
on.
we'll do a measure.
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
nice.
Yeah, with the backing, yeah.
Oh, it's red by a mile.
Are they measuring that?
Well, thinking of measuring, you know, that's always interesting. Is you look at where the overhead camera is. Sometimes an overhead camera that isn't centered right on the pinhole can make something look closer than it really is.
No, this might be just
Yeah,
a
from
case
this
thing.
angle, from our overhead camera that we've got, it looks.
The rings are a little
clearly
funky
that
around
it's,
here.
it's red.
Yep.
They're measuring, so it's got to be a lot closer than it looks.
Draw the button.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't need any more yellow rods. Any red ones?
Yeah, you can keep it there.
Rings are all right.
I think you're safe.
I think so, yeah.
One.
I'm still thinking red, Brian. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, all day.
All right.
Haha, good eye, Earl.
Well, it was, you know,
It was red.
One red.
we had the advantage of looking at the overhead, regardless of whether
Didn't look very
the camera
close
was
from
in the
here.
middle, but also from a commentating point of view. More fun commentating on a 5-2 game than a 6-1 game.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a glimmer still for those New Brunswick boys.
Well, Earl, we have our first final over on sheet F. Newfoundland scored another a 4-ender, and the game is over now. And
Way out there. Get it back.
Newfoundland leading Nunavut, beating Nunavut 12-4.
Right on. Well, Nunavut had a great start to that game. Made it pretty exciting, but Newfoundland obviously got better as the game went on and pulled away.
Top 8.
The one that I can be heavy on, Mo, I come up light. I need
Don't
to
worry
be
about
heavy
the
on
line,
that.
just
Yeah.
top 8.
Cross check you next time. Couple of chances, we didn't take it.
Line's a bit tight. Light right now. Hard. Gotta be here. Gotta be here. Make sure. Make sure. I don't want it light.
It's here.
Can't be guarded there. Okay. Top 8. Full 8. Bite the 4. Good. Attaboy. Sorry, we panicked on you a little. Oh, wow. Good throw.
Yep, gotta go.
That's gonna curl like crazy. Yeah. I don't mind no front now. I've got a gamble. Hey, Michaels.
Just over, I guess. The old just over thing.
I don't think we need another rock in there.
I'm getting too old.
Yeah.
Still tight. Good start.
Hard. Attaboy deep. That first rock's clutch. Get it right there.
Oh yeah.
Pick
Nice.
it up and place it there.
I like this call, Earl, where they're, New Brunswick is going to tap that one back to the back 4. So they'll end up having some backing, a couple of guards out front, and maybe one in the house.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and
Yep.
it's a great draw to the forefoot by Dwayne Sutherland, lead for Northern Ontario, and then of course he threw his next one through. And a late bloomer when it comes to curling. He never really was interested in curling until he turned 30. Grew up as a hockey player and a golfer, so nice to see him picking up the game. And of course, similarly with Andrew Hackner. Andrew Hackner was someone who never got into the game of curling, despite the brilliant resume of his father. He was into a lot of sports, in particular basketball. He was captain of the Ontario Men's Basketball Championship team, and played in 2 national championship tournaments for Lakehead. Tremendous athlete, played some baseball as well, played football, volleyball, track and field, but never got into curling till about 4 years ago when he moved to Geraldton, and now he's playing, I think it's 3 or 4 times a week, so he's caught the bug, and great to see, and because he's playing very well.
You didn't comment on the fact that he enjoys watching the Montreal Canadiens beat a certain team, Earl.
No, I chose not to mention that because, of course, I thought most boys from Northern Ontario were Toronto Maple Leaf fans, but obviously that's not the case. And but at any rate, I thank you for bringing that up. I was not going to bother being a Leaf fan, but yeah, Montreal's having a great season, and I'm sure he's enjoying cheering for them. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think the ice is getting a little heavier, Earl. We've just seen our first hog rock.
Those are tough on comebacks, aren't they?
They are.
Those darn hogs. But easy to happen because, yeah, ice gets heavier, and if you're not watching all the time, it goes back to that business of communication. If you're if you're timing rocks or you're gut feeling them to see whether it's slowing down and you're anticipating that kind of thing's going to happen, you have a better chance of picking it up. And happens to all teams, even at the top levels, where you don't pick up that shift, and it can cost you a game, it can cost you an end if you're not careful.
Oh, attaboy.
Okay.
Just reading the New Brunswick Bio, and they're saying that Hubert and Mo have been curling together, it seems, forever.
Not yet. Clean. Clean. Yep.
Doesn't matter who joins their team, it seems like the two of them just have enjoyed each other's chemistry and playing together, and they've had good results.
Good throw.
Yeah. Thanks. You want the intern? Yeah, okay. Lock it on. It's got to work. Yeah. Needs to curl first, guys. Yeah. Yep.
You know, despite the curl, the perfect lines have been a challenge, haven't they? To get that perfect line for freezes and so on. It's not been easy.
They're getting to the point in the end, Earl, that they just may decide to hit and stay and go for two.
Yeah, you know, it's cat and mouse at this point, isn't it?
Freezing yet? Good shooting. Thanks. Still baby pumping.
So Sean spent his first day in a curling club when he was 3 days old. Guess his parents weren't able to line up a babysitter that night that they had to curl, so they took him along, and so he's been around curling rinks for a long time, but never really started to play until he was 26 years old. Boy, hard to get those rocks to curl perfectly, eh? This one's out there again.
Why didn't I throw that way?
Well, they just may get it behind it, which is an okay positioning as well. Not quite.
Huh? Yeah, it's straightening up a bit. I mean, that's what we were taking to get to the button.
Going this way. Yeah. Just like yesterday, we had the same thing. Okay, Burke. Make it go away. Clean. Yep.
This is the 7th time that Mike has represented his province in the Nationals. Once as a junior, once in the Brier, 4 Canadian mixed, and a Travelers. Not bad. Also went to the Briar in 2001, playing lead for Al Heckner.
I think the 2001. I think that was the one that was in Ottawa.
Dogs could hear.
Yeah, I think so. Not sure.
Actually, the one that was Rick Lang was skipping that one in Ottawa.
His last hit going the other way stayed real straight down the center line, right? So I'm just gonna hit and flop over for shot. Just normal. Yep.
Even if we roll out, make sure we score.
Well, this could be the game, Earl. Scoring 2 and going up 7-2 will, in all likelihood, end the game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, just clean.
We got the rock clean.
All right, we're good.
Yeah, you are now. Thanks. Good luck, eh?
It's okay, Mike. One yellow. One yellow. Game, guys. Good luck.
One yellow, and it's
Game, guys. Good
shake
luck, guys.
time.
Good game, good
Win
luck.
for Northern Ontario.
That puts Northern Ontario 2-0. Good start to the championship event, and New Brunswick struggled a bit, and they are now 0-2.
Right on. Well, still opportunities for New Brunswick to come back and make the playoffs, but they'll have to work hard the rest of the way. Summary on the other sheets as we look at what's going on here with the Nova Scotia PEI game on sheet D. It's 5-3 for PEI, playing the 8th, and Nova Scotia has the hammer. And of course the game on sheet C is over. It's BC 12, Northwest Territories 2. Quebec is I guess they've got what, 7 points here? Not quite see the scoreboard. Certainly Ontario just scored a 4 in 6, and and Quebec is sitting with 6 points, so 7-6, and over 5-4 on sheet A. And of course, we want to talk briefly about our next game, where we're going to have the Yukon Territories from the Whitehorse Curling Club. It's going to be Judy Smallwood's team, and they're playing against New Brunswick from the Rexton Curling Club with Paulette Gervin. So signing off for now. We'll see you later on this afternoon.